That's fine. Um, Hello, everybody. This is Nicholas J. Orcutt with the Fractured Line. Thank you for joining me today. I have a very special edition of Status Check today. I am joined by Paige. Paige, I'll let you introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, my name is Paige. I am in Syracuse, New York area. It's been a hectic past 48 hours with recent events that happened. I'm still kind of in shock and in that pinch me feeling over it.
Absolutely. So, for the majority of people out there who probably have no idea what's going on right now, because it's one of those stories that it's going to pick up steam and kind of steamroll. It'll probably be a national story by the end of tomorrow, if not the start of tomorrow.
I think it is now. Yahoo News just featured it.
Perfect. So, do you want to explain to everybody exactly what happened?
Yes. So on Tuesday, I was working at an election poll site as a poll site manager in Syracuse, New York. And I had a call from a New Jersey phone number, and I checked the voicemail for it. And it was someone who I identified as um, special agent with ICE. Specifically, they work in the OCR division, which is supposed to be internal to investigate other ICE agents, not to investigate American citizens. Over an Instagram post where I named Jonathan Ross, cited the newspaper it came from, and called for him to be indicted.
It's just
ICE
important.
took that,
Just
and ICE
important.
took that as doxing.
You're not the one who broke the story that it was Jonathan Ross, the
Mhm.
shot Renee Good.
Yeah,
I just want to that is super
yeah.
important to make sure. You literally shared a story from a news article.
Mhm.
So I accuse you of doxing.
Yeah.
So then what happened after they called you and accused you of doxing?
Um, they went to my old address. I found out they were there. I told them to meet me at my poll site that I was working. They wanted me to go outside. I refused. I told them to come in. They gave me a form that looked like it was printed out at their house. So at first, I didn't think the form was legitimate. Um, it turned out from the county Republican County Board of Elections commissioner that they were indeed actual ICE agents, and that the form was legitimate. I They were trying to coerce me to sign the form, and I refused. They
What did the
kept
form
trying
say?
to. They were like, "Oh, it's just going to go into a file. It's going to get sealed. Just sign it, please. It makes our job so much easier." It's not my fault they drove all the way from New Jersey just to do that and waste taxpayer money.
Well, I mean, they shouldn't have in the first place.
No, there should have been someone local, if anything. It
So
should have actually even happened.
no,
Let's
fine.
start there. And even if it did, even if it was supposed to happen, it shouldn't have been from New Jersey.
But yeah, so ICE agents showed up to a polling place where you were working.
Yes.
They gave you a piece of paper, demanded a signature because you shared an Instagram post back in, I'm assuming it's probably what, January?
January 7th.
Yeah. And so for no other purpose than to say you have to sign this.
Yeah. Telling me
Yeah.
to remove the post or face possible prosecution either by the state or federal prosecution. The post is still up.
Good.
Um, the US codes that were cited on the form did not fit with anything that happened. And this is a huge overstep with it's a huge government overreach. It's a huge violation of the First Amendment. And polling places are protected places constitutionally. And
Yes, they
from
are.
what I understand, they were supposed to have like a court order to even go in there, and they did not have
So,
that.
so federal law prohibits federal law officials to send armed people into a polling place, except if there is somebody attacking the polling place.
Yeah.
That is a very clear. There's no way around that. That is 100% the way the law is written.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that because they're federal ICE agents, they probably came in armed. Even a
I did
siren.
not see their guns. They could have had them covered with their coats.
Yeah.
But they definitely did have their badges. I was making fun of the woman because she walked in what looked like yoga pants. So
I mean, that tracks with the way ICE is
yeah,
yoga pants and, you know, Crocs probably.
yeah.
Um, did they identify themselves when they got there too?
The male did. The male ICE agent did. Special Agent David Brody.
Mhm.
Um, and the female did not identify herself. She was actually shying away from the camera most of the time because there were 3 people recording.
Good. And so there were other people there who figured out right away that this is not okay.
Mhm. And with it being bipartisan, it didn't matter about whose party affiliation was what. They all had my back.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think even the staunchest MAGA people are against government oversight, or at least they used to be. That used to be what the whole Republican Party was, is government oversight.
Mhm.
Um, so was the idea just they literally just said we want you to take this down?
They wanted me to go sign it. They wanted me to take the post down. They wanted me to acknowledge any wrongdoing on that was on that form and admit to guilt. They had a whole file on me, printed out from social media. They had my Instagram handle. They had posts that was anti-ICE. Their main one that they were targeting was Jonathan Ross specifically. They had a whole background check done on me. It looked like they got um so like I had like my DMV photo.
Yeah, they went
Um
full.
They went straight
um,
for everything. So, of course, they went to my old address. I didn't change my address with the DMV yet. Um, and they had my phone number, they had everything. So,
Have they tried to contact you since the event?
no. I think they thought that I was in my I think they thought that I was going to find out, like, about the FAFO. I thought they thought I was gonna be in my FO with them, but I checkmated them. Uh, and right now I'm going through a whole legal process. I'm starting the whole legal process
Well, I mean,
to
absolutely.
protect not just my First Amendment rights, but everybody's First Amendment rights.
Well, and so it's one of the things that I've always like here with what I do. My biggest thing is the rights of one of us are the rights of all of us.
Mhm.
The moment we start stripping rights away from anybody, regardless of if we agree or disagree, it's a slippery slope and we all lose rights.
Absolutely.
So what you're doing is incredibly important. And it's, you know, to be a little crude here, my mom always said, if somebody's trying to do something you don't like, you yell no and you make a scene. And,
Absolutely.
and it is important not to give up.
I was very adamant with not signing that form.
Mm.
I knew what that would imply. I knew that they didn't just come up there for a form only. Um, m From what I understand, they very well could have they were trying to lure me outside. They could have probably arrested me according to what that form said.
No, absolutely.
Um, and they were trying to lure me outside. They left their phone inside for 10 minutes unattended after they walked out. And I think they might have been either recording what I was saying after they walked out, or they were trying to lure me to go bring the phone back out to them to get me outside.
Probably. It's also important to know they're ICE agents. It's not like they sent marshals, they didn't send sheriffs, not even FBI agents. These are immigration agents.
Yes.
Immigration.
Specifically from the division that's supposed to investigate other ICE agents, not investigate civilians.
Yes, and ICE agents are not law enforcement.
Nah.
They're code enforcement. I preach this endlessly because the overstepping and the fact that what they're doing is horrible. So, what is I mean, obviously, there's, I know you said you talked to a lawyer in Pennsylvania.
Yes, I talked to a lawyer via email from FIRE. So they're a nonprofit organization that is very well known for defending the First Amendment rights of all of
Mhm.
us Americans. And they've won some very big, powerful cases. Um, they Then I got a message from NYCLU today to talk to them later on today. Um, and I'm calling a couple local law firms as well. I'm
Good.
trying to get as many people involved legally to attack this from every angle.
What have you talked to any elected officials?
So I do have so the fifth district legislator for Onondaga County, she reached out to me.
Okay.
Um, she, Counselor Block.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna be meeting up with her Monday in person, and
Okay.
her district is actually specifically where the ICE facility is in Mattydale, New York,
Hmm.
and she's been trying to get that removed, get them to shut down there.
I unfortunately
Um,
know exactly where that is too.
yep, so her and I are gonna have a long, lengthy discussion in person Monday morning. Um, I've talked to, Sharon Owen's office immediately after. I talked to Darston Zarnecki. I've talked to the New York State Board of Elections Commissioner, and I've been in contact with the district attorney's office, as well
Okay.
as as well as Senator Mannion's office.
Good. Good. Because this is so because of what it is. They cross state lines to come after you.
Absolutely.
You're not a federal employee.
No.
Even with the election board, you're not getting you're getting a county paycheck with that, right?
Yep, a county paycheck.
Yeah. So you're not a federal employee. So even if they had an issue with a post that you put up yesterday, that doesn't qualify for what they're doing. That is a government overreach.
Definitely is. And them saying doxing over a name and I cited the newspaper, that is not doxing.
No.
So now you can just name drop someone, and that is supposedly putting someone's life and family in jeopardy,
Yeah.
even though it was already released.
Well, I mean, they made it was a presidential memo NC 17A, I believe it was,
Mhm.
off the top of my head, where anybody who has un-American, un-Christian values is considered a domestic terrorist. So all of us who grew up knowing that Nazis were the bad guys,
Mhm.
because we remember how it, we know our history. We're now anti-American because we think Nazis are bad guys,
Absolutely. Yes. I'm
and
familiar with
so
that being passed.
that is NSPM 7. Thank you. Um, but that is something that you as scary as everything that's going on. Be very proud of yourself because this is a chance to do something big. Um, and I said to you before this, I'm gonna put you have a GoFundMe out, right, for legal defense
Yes,
and
I do.
everything. I'm gonna make sure that that goes out. Um, I'm gonna make sure that as many people see that as possible. And it's super important because you're not alone in this. And the biggest thing with the way, especially ICE has been lately, well, not lately, since the Trump administration, ICE thinks that they can do anything they want. They want to be able to push us around. They don't like that we can fight back. But what's important is we have to fight back together.
Absolutely. I
And so,
knew when they came in that this was going to be bigger than me,
mhm,
and that this was going to be something that could be used positively to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else. And I started thinking when they presented that form to me, how many people have they done this to, and how many people actually signed that paper?
probably a lot, probably a lot. They, I actually recently covered the Delaney Hall concentration camp they have. And they have American citizens in there.
Mhm.
And so I don't trust anything that they would make. I wouldn't trust anything that they make you actually sign. And so I'm really happy you didn't sign anything.
They didn't either. I wish they did.
Yeah, like I'm glad that you did not sign anything.
Mhm.
Um, but again, I want to make sure that GoFundMe gets out there.
I will make sure that gets out to you so you can get it out.
Nothing else. So everything they haven't affected your job, anything like that beyond that, right?
No.
Okay.
In fact, the whole, all the Democratic elected officials are 100% behind me. Even the Onondaga County Republican Party is fully
Well,
behind me, supporting me.
I would
So,
think so, just on the simple fact that this is
mhm,
uh, on top of the fact that it's ICE inappropriately targeting somebody. It's technically it's election interference, right? Because they're going to a
yes,
polling place, and
yes,
this was during polling hours, correct?
it was. Thankfully, there were no voters there at that time. Because I worked at one of the slowest sites, and it was right after the lunch rush, and it was only
Yeah.
a primary. So not as much of a turnout as during a general election. Thank goodness there were no voters there at that time. I know that they aren't supposed to go in there and intimidate or harass any workers or voters.
Yeah. And this has been a big, one of the things that there was a huge, not fallback, one of the big fights that the elected officials were saying was we want to ensure that ICE is nowhere near polling places.
Mhm.
And so this is going to be important nationally because this is all our elected officials failing too, if this is what's happening. So we are with you,
Thank you.
you know. And again, thank you for taking this time to explain to everybody. I think it's surreal, right? The fact that this is happening in.
It is. And, I've seen stories where people talk about similar things where the FBI came after them for an Instagram post or for something on social media. And I try to not be overly problematic on social media, although I need to speak loud, even
Mhm.
louder now. Um, and I never posted anything that I thought would, you know, get the attention of any
Well,
federal agents of any sort.
I mean, just simply put, there's how many times do we share things on social media a day or whatnot?
Right.
You're allowed to have opinions and you're allowed to be vocal about your opinions. That's the First Amendment. First Amendment's very clear about that.
Hmm.
As long as you're not walking into a crowded theater screaming fire, your language is not hurting anybody,
Hmm.
and so you are protected by the First Amendment with that.
And I think I have a really strong case, and hopefully it's over soon because don't I don't know, it's a lot to deal with, the attention to this. It does get a little overwhelming, all the phone calls, the press interviews. Um, I didn't I didn't know it would go national, um, and I'm kind of glad that it did because it brings awareness to this happening everywhere.
Yes, it does.
Um, and I heard about what happened in Texas yesterday with the protesters getting decades in jail just for
Mhm.
protesting, exercising their First Amendment right.
Yep.
If that's happening in Texas, imagine where it's going to happen next. And
Well,
imagine how much more is going to happen in Texas.
and the scary thing is, I mean, I'm in Syracuse. I'm actually in Clay. I live in Clay. I work in East Syracuse. This is, New York State's a very blue state. I think you can attest to this. Syracuse, upstate New York, is kind of a red dot in the blue state.
Yeah.
Um, so for this to happen here is kind of surprising. And so that's the
Yes.
part that caught me off guard is, wow, they're going after. This isn't like if they had gone after somewhere super blue. This is somewhere that these are people that would support them, and they're going after them.
Mhm.
And so that's the part that just boggles my mind. The other thing is it's going to be overwhelming for you. It's going to be a lot coming at you at once.
Yeah,
Um, do you have a support system in place?
I do. I have a lot of people that are rallying behind me right now,
Okay.
both locally that I know and through social media that have reached out recently.
Okay. I can assure you now that obviously I'm going to be following up to make sure everything's good. Um, I am a very loud, argumentative person. So you have me in your corner now.
Thank you.
Uh,
I appreciate it.
it's good when I'm in your corner. It's not so good when I'm against you. Um, but you also have, I have the fractured line community, the community that follows my writing, follows what we do,
Mhm.
is outstanding. There have been days that I've had some of the worst days of my life, and I posted something and I get some of the nicest comments in the world.
Mhm.
Um, but it is a scary thing what you're going through, and you are not alone.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really need all the support I can get right now, especially since um the coverage of this has blown up and um I'm now a little worried to be outside for too long because I don't know if they're gonna pop back up.
Especially, if you're anywhere near the Mattydale area, like I live in Clay.
Well,
The
I live near downtown. There's an office there too.
Mhm.
So
Just keep your phone on you, keep it charged,
yeah.
and remember that they can't detain you. just to the team. Um, I would be, I think for the time being, because of the attention that this is going to bring, you should get safe. Doesn't mean you will be. We're talking about a bunch of ego driven frat boy wannabes
Yeah.
who want to make the police academy so they think that they can push people around. Um, but you should be okay for the time being. The problem is it's when things start getting quiet is when that retribution starts with them.
Yeah.
Um, but I am, yeah, dissent and disagreement are not crimes, and be clear about it.
Yeah.
The one thing, and I said this when the Alex Preddy and the Renee Good shooting happened, and it's terrible to think of it this way, but they are going to be known as American heroes. There will be a day that, my kids will talk about how they were American heroes who stood up for the rights of the people. And you fall into that category by standing against them and fighting back.
Yeah.
When so many people can't, that's why it's so important that you do.
I I'm trying to get myself prepared for everything that is to come. Because the whole thing is so surreal. It's one thing for me to go post a silly TikTok or Instagram post and it goes viral. And because that virality doesn't last, for too long, right? And it's not really attention to me as a person, it's attention to me as a caricature.
Mhm.
So when it's something like it's a real life issue that is affecting me personally, but is also going to be a national issue and could potentially set the bar for government overreach and government um, not doing things that are unconstitutional that interfere with the First Amendment rights of
Absolutely.
Americans. It could be the foundation, hopefully, to make sure that doesn't happen again. I don't think they realized that those agents knew that how big this was going to get,
They didn't.
and that I was able to easily get a whole bunch of people to really rally behind me.
Absolutely. And again, it's important, so I don't ever tell people, live in the spotlight. It's good. Live in the spotlight. It's not a thing that's usually good for your mental health.
Yeah.
Um, for you right now, it wouldn't be a terrible idea. It would also be worth making sure everybody knows that you were working, you were doing your civic duty, working at the election polls to make the polling place
Mhm.
so voting could happen. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like they came to your job at like Sears or something and no, they came to an election polling place to intimidate you.
Yeah. And I've been making people know that too. I've been making sure I tell people that all the time that I was working at a polling site,
Yeah.
um, and that they came and they intimidated me. They were trying to pressure me, very, very much pressure me to sign a form that I was adamantly refusing to sign without legal counsel.
And as you shouldn't have. And it's super important that you stood your ground because that is the only way that this is going to get better is by standing your ground and saying no. And so I'm very thankful that you did that. I'm also, and I say this seriously, I'm also very thankful that you're safe.
Yes, I made sure to not say anything too much that would have escalated things. Seen what I've seen, and so has everyone else, what ICE agents have done to American citizens,
Mhm.
who have been very loud, vocal, maybe um, said the wrong thing to piss them off. I tried very much to remain at a professional capacity because I was at work.
Yeah.
I didn't want to call them racist Nazis like I wanted to, right? Like I'm not on the clock now. I am done until November. So um, they're Nazi pigs. I hope that their food in their fridge spoils. I hope that their fridge runs out of Freon and their food spoils and that they have the day that they deserve.
Yeah. That's the most important part. The Gestapo doing Gestapo things should have a Gestapo day.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, I'm very glad that you're safe. Um, a lot of those guys, like I said, are uh, very testosterone driven. and try to bully people. And so I'm incredibly happy that you're safe with that. Um, and I'm. It sounds like you're still going to be doing the polling in November too,
Absolutely.
which is
The county commissioners are really rallying behind me, both of them,
that's super.
surprisingly.
That actually makes me really happy to hear that they're fighting for you. Um, but it's awesome. Like that is awesome that you have the support from them. Um, I'm genuinely glad that you're safe.
Thank you. I do have to get myself going. I do have a call in a little bit with my first legal representative to handle this case.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
Uh,
I have other stuff happening too throughout the day.
no, absolutely. And like I said, I'm going to have that GoFundMe will be up for everybody, and I'm going to make sure that it's spread around.
Thank you.
And so, again, stay safe. I intend to try to stay in touch to find out what's going on to make sure everything's going okay. Then you are not alone through this. Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those of you who are joining us or joined late, that was Paige. Paige was, I guess, the best way to say is accosted by ICE agents at jobs. Her job is at a polling place. She was working as an election official. She was the one there to make sure people knew what to do. And they came in and they, in not so many words, they tried to force her to sign a piece of paper that said that she was going to take responsibility and admit wrongdoing for posting a meme or a post in, what was it? It was January, I think she said, about the guy who killed Renee Good. There is no excuse at all for an ICE agent to show up to a polling place to intimidate people. There's no excuse for an ICE agent to show up to anybody and intimidate them, but especially a polling place. I don't know what kind of world and country we're living in that this is happening. Not even that it's okay, but the fact that this is happening blows my mind. And what she was talking about, where the ICE station is, it is, I want to say, maybe 10 miles from where I currently am. And it is wild to think that they have gotten bold enough that our elected officials, people who we pay the salary of, make no mistake, they are elected officials who we pay their salary. They have gotten bold enough to threaten people, not just at their jobs, but at polling place jobs. For what? You know, I'm sure all of us have done have put up a meme, have put up a post, have shared something from Facebook or something that, you know, says this guy's name or that guy's name or something. That's not doxing. That is not doxing. Doxing is a very, very, very clear thing. That is when you reveal somebody's address, name, phone that has already been made public by a news organization is not doxing. Um, there's no gray area to that. There's no middle ground to that. They can dislike it all they want. They can say this is wrong. They can rally against it. It is not doxing. Um, so as most of you heard when I had Paige on, I put up her GoFundMe. Um, I'm going to donate to it. I would encourage all of you to. This is a chance for us to stand up to this government. We always say, how can we fight back? What can we do to fight back? This is a way to put your name on fighting back. This is a way to actually stand and say, I don't accept this. You're not going to do this on my dime. You will not do this on my taxes. Um, And so I'll have that up. I'll have an article up about the situation because I know a lot of people won't necessarily be able to go through and watch. I did want to make sure I had her interview on here because I wanted her to tell her story. So I feel like that's more important than anything else. That is the story that needs to be told. So I encourage all of you to share her story, make sure what happened is known, because these things don't happen in spurts. It escalates every time. It's a rolling snowball down a hill, right? So it starts small with something happening, then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually it is too massive and it's knocking us all down. So together, let's try to build a barricade now to stop that from hitting all the way. So with that, I am going to thank you all for spending the afternoon. I want to thank Paige again for giving me her time to talk to her and for sharing her story. As I say all the time, please stay loud, stay informed, stay dangerous. It's the only way that we can stay safe and we can win. Thank you.